The Raiders have made a big move. They officially hired their new offensive coordinator, and let me tell you, it didn't come cheap. Oh, and we'll also talk about Russell Wilson shutting down rumors of reuniting with Pete Carroll, plus the latest on Myles Garrett's trade request. Could the Raiders be in the mix for him too? Let's dive in. Now, let's get into today's big news. Our new offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. Just yesterday, Ian Rappaport reported that the Las Vegas Raiders are bringing in former NFL head coach Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator. But here's the kicker. According to Albert Breer, the Raiders made a massive offer to land Kelly, showing how serious they are about building something special. Kelly was brought to Las Vegas with a deal worth $6 million per year, making him the highest-paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. That's insane. This move speaks volumes about the team's commitment and the vision of the new ownership. Looking at the Raiders' coaching staff now, we are stacked. I'll admit, Chip Kelly wasn't the first name that came to mind for this role, but with his recent success at Ohio State, where he led the team to a national championship, it's clear this guy knows how to win. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Chip Kelly would actually come to the Raiders. But I'm glad we got him because this guy brings tons of experience to the table. And if there's one thing I've been saying all offseason, it's that we need coaches who know what they're doing, especially after the rough season we just had. We had AP, Getty, and Patrick Graham last year, and while things didn't go smoothly, I'm happy Graham is staying with us. But adding Kelly, that's a huge move. Looking back at his coaching career, Kelly made a name for himself with the Oregon Ducks as their head coach. Then he moved to the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. His first season there was solid, but things went downhill after that. He also had a rough time with the San Francisco 49ers. After that, he returned to college football, leading the UCLA Bruins before stepping back into an offensive coordinator role at Ohio State. And guess what? In his first season, they won a national championship. Now he's back in the NFL as our offensive coordinator, and I'm pumped. This was one of the most important hires for us, because let's be real, our offense has struggled for years. Not having a solid quarterback didn't help either. We brought back Patrick Graham, which was a big deal, and now we've got Chip Kelly to run the offense. He's got the experience and the play-calling skills we desperately need. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table. Sure, Chip Kelly's head coaching career in the NFL wasn't great, and I would have been a bit worried if he came to Las Vegas as our head coach. But as an offensive coordinator, that's a whole different story. This makes me excited about what we're building with the new regime this offseason. Kelly is famous for his fast-paced, high-scoring spread offense, which changed college football during his time at Oregon. Knowing his style, we can expect him to favor a dual-threat quarterback, someone who can run and pass effectively. There are already rumors swirling. According to NFL rumors on Twitter, Marcus Mariota is a name to watch as a veteran option for the Raiders. He thrived under Kelly's system before, and honestly, I'd love to bring him back to Vegas. He's affordable, experienced, and could be a great mentor. Now, I know I was hyped about Russell Wilson, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's focus on quarterbacks who can guide the team while we develop a younger player for the future. Mariota is one strong option, but Justin Fields is even more intriguing. He's young, athletic, and has a high ceiling. Fields can make plays with both his legs and his arm. If the Steelers don't bring him back, the Raiders should do everything possible to get him. He could be the guy to lead the team now and for years to come while we develop a future draft pick. If I had to pick, Fields would be at the top of my list, no doubt. Another interesting name to consider is Trey Lance. He's a low-cost option who might surprise everyone if given the chance to revive his career. Kind of like what Sam Darnold did with the Vikings. When it comes to possible trade targets, Joe Milton from the New England Patriots stands out. There's a strong chance he might get traded, and the Raiders could benefit from bringing in a young, dual-threat quarterback to develop under Chip Kelly. Another intriguing option is Dorian Thompson-Robinson DTR from the Cleveland Browns. He played under Kelly back at UCLA, and a reunion could be exactly what he needs to shine. Plus, he wouldn't cost much. Now let's look at the draft. There are several promising quarterbacks who could thrive in Kelly's offense. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are two big names to watch, but they might require trading up. If the Raiders stick to their current spot at number 6 or even trade down, Jackson Dart becomes an ideal pick. He fits perfectly with Kelly's system, fast, smart, and dynamic. Raider Nation has already shown a lot of excitement about him. But if we want to wait until later rounds, Dylan Gabriel could be a smart choice. He's been lighting it up and has the skill set Kelly loves in a quarterback. We might not even need to spend a high pick to get him. There are definitely options out there, and I'm excited to see which direction the Raiders choose. One name that stands out is Will Howard, who just won a national championship and already has a strong connection with Chip Kelly. The best part? The Raiders wouldn't even need to trade up for him. There are so many options, and that makes me even more excited to see who will be the next quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. These names I mentioned seem like perfect fits for Kelly's offense and are definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm genuinely hyped about this coaching hire. When you look at the Raiders' new regime and the coaching staff heading into this season, things just feel different. Last year, we had Tom Telesco as GM, Antonio Pierce as head coach, Luke Getsy as offensive coordinator, and Patrick Graham on defense. Fast forward to today, we have John Spytek as GM, Pete Carroll as head coach, Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator, and Patrick Graham returning for defense. That's a power-packed lineup with experience all around. How can you not be excited, Raider Nation? This team looks ready to turn the tables and finally chase greatness. It feels different this time because these are guys who've been there, done that. But here's a question for you. What grade would you give this new coaching staff and GM? Drop your thoughts in the comments. For me, I'd say a solid B+. On paper, it looks fantastic. But it's one thing to look good and another to actually perform. If the Raiders go out, turn things around, and make the playoffs, that's when I'll upgrade it to an A+. With Pete Carroll's winning culture coming to Las Vegas, I truly believe big things are ahead. One thing that stands out about this coaching staff is the continuity and experience they bring, both offensively and defensively. I genuinely feel this is the best coaching staff the Raiders have had in a very long time. Now, it's just a matter of translating all that onto the field. A lot will depend on the off-season moves, the players we bring in, and the positional coaches we hire. But overall, the Raiders seem to be heading in a solid direction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this coaching staff can turn things around? Speaking of coaching changes, it looks like Scott Turner is heading to the New York Jets. According to Tom Pelissero, the Jets are hiring Turner as their pass game coordinator. He did a solid job as the Raiders' interim offensive coordinator last season. Wishing him all the best. But now, it's time to move forward. One player I want to quickly mention is Russell Wilson. There's been plenty of talk about him reuniting with Pete Carroll here in Las Vegas. But Wilson himself shut those rumors down, telling AP that he's focused on the Steelers. Honestly, that's fine. If he hits the open market, there might be some interest, but I'm not banking on it. I'd rather see us bring in someone like Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or even draft a guy like Jackson Dart. We also can't overlook Marcus Mariota as a veteran leader who could mentor a young quarterback. Now, here's the real breaking news. Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade. When I saw that headline, my first thought was, here come the Raider fans saying he's headed to Las Vegas. So, here's a wild thought. Myles Garrett in a Raiders jersey. Now, I wasn't even planning on bringing this up, but then Diana Rini tweeted that a GM suggested the Raiders should consider trading for Garrett to pair him with Max Crosby, and honestly, I couldn't ignore that. Imagine those two on opposite ends of the defense. Every quarterback would be praying for their lives. That combo would take this defense to a whole new level. Do I think the Raiders are interested? Probably not. But crazier things have happened in the NFL. Would I do it? Absolutely. Now, what would it take to make this happen? Realistically, we're looking at giving up the 6th overall pick and maybe a 3rd-round pick, possibly even a player. That's a steep price, especially with the team's need for a quarterback. But hey, If Myles Garrett is on the table, I'm not opposed to taking the gamble. If we don't make the move, drafting Abdul Carter at number 6 wouldn't be a bad option either. So Raider Nation, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about Chip Kelly as our new offensive coordinator? Would you trade for Myles Garrett? What would you be willing to give up to make it happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.